make some comments after the address that we just had. One of the big differences between the plan for that you saw and the prioritized progress, which is the Republican plan, one huge difference is the Republican plan is now. We can start the infrastructure today. We don't have to wait 5 years, 6 years, all the different public hearings. We could start it today. It's certainty. We already put $250 million in our last budget for transportation, and we can continue on doing that with our prioritized progress. So you have certainty versus uncertain. We don't know what the plan's going to show. We don't know how much they're going to charge. We don't know whether or not the federal government is going to agree to it. We don't know where the gantries. There's so many uncertainties, but our plan says starting this fiscal year, we can add to the $250 million. So our plan brings certainty. Number two, when you look at the bills that are around the Capitol, you got to understand what this is under our plan, we are keeping the same amount of bonding. There's no increase in bonding. The press reports talk about our plan having additional bonding. The answer is no. We keep it the same bonding level. But if you look at their plan, they're actually increasing bonding, and they're paying for that increase in bonding by putting a mileage tax for every mile you drive on highways. So our plan keeps the bonding the same. Their plan increases bonding and charges the people of Connecticut more. So those are two major differences in what we have. And I think the most important difference is, and you heard everyone talk about it, that their plan is in the future. And not one person who testified or spoke today talked about the fact that starting, according to Governor Lamont's budget, starting now, they are removing funds that are going into the transportation fund and taking them out of the transportation fund. That's the new car sales. So they're depleting the transportation fund, which is going to weaken it and make it in a very bad position by 2022 and 2023. And the Office of Fiscal Analysis said that it's going to be a very weak position. So their plan not only weakens the transportation system, delays the infrastructure for at least 5 years, if not longer, and doesn't bring certainty, which our plan brings certainty and money, and you can't divert what we're doing because it's bonding dedicated to transportation.
Is there anything in the governor's plan that could make it more palatable to you and to the Republicans?
I would say not that I see so far. There's nothing in there that I could see that's palatable. And, you know, most of the language in both those bills subvert 187 legislators, either by virtue of going through regulations or by saying two people in the building are going to decide whether or not we have a public hearing, or strike that, decide whether or not we vote on it. And I don't think that's appropriate.
People saying today, after some of the comments that you made yesterday, that somehow they think that there's an opening for tolls, that you would be open to tolls if you're going to add another highway lane. To tell you the truth, I don't remember whether you're using that as an example of sort of the things that the federal government permits, or that was something that you were saying that you might be open to. So could you clarify?
Yeah, sure. The federal government allows that if you're going to build a bridge, brand new bridge, or brand new lane, the federal government allows the state of Connecticut to toll for that purpose, and that money has to be directed towards the cost of that new bridge or that new lane or highway and the maintenance of that. So they are very strict on that type of thing. And I'm saying if they do that, you know, they could do that within the existing federal law.
Florida, didn't you yesterday? That
Florida has a new lane. They created a HOV lane, a fast lane. I think it might be 2 lanes they created in parts of Florida. But Miami, it's at least 1 lane I know of, and you could toll that because it was a new construction project, as I understand it.
Do you think there would be Republican votes, since I asked the question, do you think there would be Republican votes for such a proposition?
I don't think you need Republican votes. I think you could do it as a matter of existing federal law for new highway.
You
Do
made,
you already have like the HOV lanes in place right now, or would you have to kind of keep those HOV rider share lanes? Can you use the lanes as we have them coming in, like into Hartford? Or?
As I understand the federal law is you have to construct a lane in order to toll the lane. I don't know the definition of construct, so, you know, as a lawyer, you could probably, yeah, so I don't know if they could take a lane and align it and do some other things and qualify, I don't know. But generally speaking, a new lane can be constructed and taxed.
Regardless of whose plan bonds more or less, it would seem to be that going forward, if we're going to provide a long-term fix for transportation and infrastructure, would you agree we do need another stream of revenue? And what would the Republican plan for that be?
The answer is no, I don't agree we need a new stream of revenue. I think what we're talking about is taking our existing bonding and using that at the $2 billion limit, $1.9 billion limit, and bond necessity, which is infrastructure, that you heard everyone talk about. And you don't need a new stream of revenue. All new stream of revenue is going to do is allow what you see happening now, right? So when they went to go talk about tolls, what's the first thing they did? Divert the money to transportation into the general fund. That's what you're going to see when you talk about statewide tolling every so many miles. We still put a percent of the sales tax into the transportation fund. You'll see them saying, well, we don't have to do that anymore. Let's go up a half a penny on our tolls, and we can keep that in the general fund. So what you're asking is creating another revenue monster in this building, and that's what you're asking them to do that will take over. We're saying we can't do that. We've seen these happen before, whether it's the income tax or the sales tax. We cannot allow that to happen. We need to be disciplined like everyone else, and we need to say infrastructure is important. Let's take our general obligation bonding and commit it. We did it in our 2-year budget, $250 million more into transportation. We need to keep that going. And in 5 years, when they're talking about getting their project off the ground, we will have $5 billion for construction, for infrastructure in the state of Connecticut, no taxes, no tolls, existing system. Yeah, Keith.
I'm not trying to softball here, but I'm wondering why you're not playing this up more. Your prioritized progress over the next 4 years has more than $1 billion a year in bonding going in. That's 75% more than the Lamont administration's proposed. So every year you're $600 million more than them. You'd have $2.4 billion more invested by the time tolls come in. You'd have that much of a head start. Why are you guys not emphasizing more how much more your plan does over the next 4 years than theirs? I mean,
You know, it's,
that's a little more than certainty if you're doing 75% more than them.
exactly. And when I heard them talk about, you know, if you look at the budget, Keith, they're talking about putting the money in 2023. That's what their budget has, right? $185 million going into the special transportation fund from tolls in 2023. You just heard that that's not going to happen, right? You just heard that 2023 is not a reality because they're talking about just the bill that's in here is going to take at least 1 year to 2 years to get through the legislative process. And then you have the government to take a look at it. And every study talks about a 5-year, at least 5 years after you get the plan done to get approval. So it's out there. So the point is, it's not going in 2023, which means in 2023, under their plan, the STF is done. It's bankrupt because it's not going to add that $185 million in that transportation fund. So when I heard that, you're right. That's why I want to come down and make a point and talk about certainty. 5 years down the road, we're good. By the time they think about getting it to the federal government, we would have billions of dollars for infrastructure and certainty to our businesses that we're going to make an investment and we're going to get to where we want to be. That's what we need to do. Not wait for something that may happen in the future, but we're not sure how much it's going to cost people.
Able to do the general obligation debt diet because you do need some of that for transportation, and you basically have everyone freeze at current levels for school construction and capital projects at universities. Why do you think after 8 years of being willing to borrow, as the Malloy administration proposed, now the Democratic Party wants to go on the debt diet?
I think that's a good question for Senator Looney and the Speaker. Are you going to pledge to this legislature that you agree with the debt diet? I think it's a good question to ask them.
What about the interest rates? I mean, they were low, I mean, you know, they were low interest rates, so they were taking advantage of the low interest rates at a time, you know, when the Connecticut economy was still struggling, actually going south, and still not having jobs. So, I mean, yeah, the borrowing. I mean, you know,
But you know, when you borrow $3 billion, right, that juice adds up. I don't care what the interest rate is, right? It was an attractive interest rate to a point, but it gets unattractive as the principal keeps getting borrowed, right? All right, well, listen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.